link. You know what we put it there. You go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Alrighty, this is take two. Take two. Pin comment. Alrighty. Thank you, sir. Everyone tuning in right now. In a few minutes, we're just waiting on the queue. He's online right now, actually. We have the Promise Prince or the Rogue Prince, 1/3 of the Hart Foundation, Brian Pillman Jr. is online right now, and we are proceeding with his hashtag PWOG Live, episode 13, right now. Interview in a few minutes. There you go. He's online. Show some love, fellas. Smash that heart button if you have any questions for the one and only Brian Pillman Jr. Without further ado, he is the 2018 and 2019 Rookie of the Year. That's for MLW and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He's the current reigning defending Warrior Wrestling Champion, former MLW Tag Team Champion, the one, the only, Brian Pillman Jr. He's accepting the live in 3, 2, 1, right over there. Here you go.
How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Thank you so much, bro, for joining us this morning. Top of the morning to you, bro.
Good morning. Sorry, it's a little early for me.
Yeah,
I usually
man,
get up a little bit later. I got that rock star sleeping schedule. I just sleep in all day. It's funny you said that because there's my award right there. I didn't even realize I was sitting in front of it.
There you go. Actually, I saw your one story when you were squatting and you were just right in front of it, and that's crazy, man.
It's pretty funny, huh?
You know what's funny? What happened right now? It reminds me of one of my favorite interviews, Chris Van Vliet. Do you remember that interview, the second one? I didn't know it's the exact same timing, 11 a.m. And it's what happened an hour later. But hey, what's important? You are here, and we have you, and we are very, very, very grateful on behalf of my tag amigo Jake De Leon to have you here on the program right now. He's actually moderating right now for the fan live comments. Alrighty, whenever you're ready, can we start?
Yeah, we're already started, brother. We're already going.
That's true. We're live, pal.
Yeah, we're live. Let's do it live. We'll do it live.
All right, first important question anyone you could ask when you encounter during the pandemic. Brian, how are you, man? How are you doing during the COVID-19 spread?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, I'm just hanging out with my bed a lot, sleeping in my bed, playing some video games, just trying to stay entertained and distracted while we wait for this to kind of blow over and get back into the wrestling world and get back to traveling. And, my whole life was taken away, by this virus. So it really sucks. But I'm very confident, very optimistic person. I think that this will be over soon and people will be getting back to work before we know it. So I'm really excited to get back to wrestling. It's something I don't want to ever have to live without again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Imagine that first show. Actually, one of our previous guests, Aaron Solo, he was able to say that. Imagine that very first match in any promotion. Be the curtain jerker for any match. Imagine the pop you're gonna receive from just the energy of the arena. It's gonna be crazy, man.
It's gonna be wild, yeah. I'm excited to see.
All right. So let's proceed with one question. I don't know if we have some fan questions coming in. Everyone tuning in, good morning to y'all. If you have any questions for the one and only Brian Pillman Jr. himself, the Promise Prince, the Rogue Prince, 1/3 of the Hart Foundation, just click on that comment section, and while you're at it, smash that heart button, fellas. Smash that heart button. All right, so there's this one question for you. Actually, I thought of this question. So I've always wanted to ask, which version of your dad was your favorite? Hollywood Blondes, Flying Brian, Hart Foundation, or Loose Cannon?
There's a lot of different things to like about a lot of his different hats that he wore. He was a very very ranged performer, very talented performer. But I don't know. Recently, I've been enjoying more of his stuff with Jushin Liger and his technical work and his wrestling. So everybody likes the crazy guy character, but I have to live every day with that crazy brain in my head. So I don't always like that character. He's always telling me weird things. So
That's true. That's true. That's like you're not actually living the gimmick anymore. It's actually
no,
pretty.
I admire his ability in the ring and stuff, and when it comes to character work, that shit's really cool too. So there's a lot to love about my father's career, but just in recent days, I've been watching his stuff with Liger, so that's really cool to see.
Yeah, it showed more of his actually technical prowess, for a lack of a better term. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And actually, speaking of Jushin Thunder Liger, you were able to share the ring with him not too long ago. How was that experience like? I know you've encountered that question a lot in your recent interviews, but like, how was that like? Like, what's something that you weren't able to share in past interviews?
Yeah, no, it was really cool, just to be able to share a locker room with such a legend, and somebody that had a huge influence on my father's career, and vice versa. They really helped each other become stars on those nights that they were working together, and seeing the clips of my dad in Japan and hearing the crowd in Japanese is really cool, and going back and watching that. And it gives me a lot of inspiration. And when I met him, that's what it did. It inspired me to do better, inspired me to be better in every way because of just how awesome and how good he was. And in the ring, it was such a synergistic thing. We could just go back and forth and back and forth, and I could feel it with him. I could really, really feel that energy with Liger, that chemistry that people talked about. So it was definitely there, and it was an awesome time. I gave him a photo. I framed a photo for him that I gave to him. So
Awesome, awesome. I'm sure he will treasure that as well, man. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy. Okay. Shifting gears a bit. So we were on the different version of your father. Now Jushin Thunder Liger. Let's go backtrack a little bit to the version of your father. So now I noticed personally, because I am a big fan of yours. I'm a fan of yours from MLW, man. So
thank you,
I've
my friend.
always I've always wondered. Can you what was that one? All right. So from the what was the light bulb moment and the reverse evolution of your tribute ring gear to your father? So from my understanding as a viewer standpoint, for a lack of a better term, I noticed when you started with the Hart Foundation or the New Era Hart Foundation with Teddy Hart and David Boy Smith Jr., you had that '90s loose cannon look. Now, as the years progresses or as the months progress, you slowly started looking more of the Flying Brian version of your father. Even your wrestling style changed. You didn't use the sleeping hero German suplex anymore. You weren't as wild as crazy, but more of a technical wrestler now. Could you please further explain that light bulb moment wherein, you know what, let me change it up a bit from the future to the past, bring it old school.
I think it's all about just kind of being myself, but also be willing to experiment with different styles. I think when I first, broke into the business, maybe I wasn't as technical or as physically, new and did a lot of moves really well. So maybe I focused more on that, kind of those antics, and then trying to get by with, how I was as sort of a quirky, young guy, an entertainer, somebody that's willing to go out there and show his ass and not be afraid to, entertain the fans and stuff. And then slowly, as I gained a lot more knowledge and obviously respect of the different styles, I definitely incorporated some more lucha and some more technical stuff into my repertoire. So to me, it's all about just evolving and learning and going back and seeing what works, and it's also every night's different, and I try to have a range of talents as well. If I can go out there and put on a show without doing too much, it shows a great amount of restraint, depending on where you are on the card and how the show is booked, and then it shows a great amount of ability. You don't want to go out there every night and do the same thing. So I always have something new planned, whether it's a new spot or a new finish. I always try different finishes in different towns. So I think maybe there's a good reason you're seeing a lot of variance in my styles too, is just because I am fresh to the business and I'm trying new things. So yeah, I'm still only 3 years in to the professional wrestling business, because when I was younger I didn't get started. No one ever got me started, so no one ever tapped me on the shoulder. But at the age of 22, I started looking into it. I'm 26 now, but I didn't really start training until about a year of watching and enjoying. I actually enjoyed watching the indies and stuff on YouTube with, Cody and the Bucks kind of like, blowing up on the indies. That was kind of like my upbringing into the education of wrestling. So, and now I watch a lot more old school stuff, but that was kind of me getting back into wrestling, was watching the current indie product and going, wow, this is way cooler than, WWE.
I see, I see. And like as time progresses, your interests also change as should it be for independent wrestlers such as yourself. And actually, I don't know if this is the right term, but like I think like you're just being humble, man. 3 years in, and the amount of work you've put in right now, the awards you've been receiving, bro. It's not just any design. I tell you, man, you deserve that. You worked hard for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
thank you. I mean, definitely the perfect storm of things, just having that legacy and also being in good physical shape. Always have played sports and stuff, so everything kind of fell into place for me. It was just a matter of patience, really.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that story, man. All right, shifting gears a bit. So I've always wondered, man. So in your 3 years, you've actually had three different names for your finishers. So the first one I was able to mention earlier, it was the sleeping hero German suplex, to the hand cannon, or to what you actually call now dire promises. May we know the origin story of the transition of your finishing maneuver?
Well, the German was cool because it was something that Lance Storm always told people in class. He said, make sure you do it right, make sure you do it right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was trying so hard at doing it perfect and having that perfect bridge and all that I accidentally, and also like keeping the pressure off my neck so I wouldn't hurt my neck. I was trying so hard to do it one way, I accidentally messed up and did it a different way. So what happened as a mistake actually kind of complemented my flexibility and my the yoga that I would do. I used to do a lot of yoga. I was a big enthusiast of yoga. Um, I don't do that much anymore, but I still love it. I just haven't warmed up for anything physical in a while. But no, and then when it kind of landed in that way, I thought, well, this is really cool. Let's make this a move. And so I took my yoga passion and inspiration and named that move, and it was really good. But the only reason I stopped using it was because maybe just to take care and I had hurt my knee. I had that knee injury, and just going into such a extension, such a pose that is very edgy. It's on the edge of your ligaments to hold that pose. I thought it would be dangerous to do that in a ballistic way and to explode into that move. I thought might be dangerous, so I switched to something a little more kind of safer in that regard for myself. Something more akin to kind of what Cody's doing, kind of a move that has a good display, a good message, a good kind of a punctuation point to a match. But no, here's, obviously I'll probably have something new in the works after this COVID, right? The same moves that worked back then aren't going to work now because people have been training, people have been getting in better shape, and people are going to be busting out some bigger things. So I'm going to have to evolve as well, and I've been doing my best to train and stay on top of that. So
Absolutely, and man, it
I
shows in your
actually
work.
just added a new move last week where I went to a secret ring and trained. So a lot of training schools are closed right now, but I have access to a secret ring, so.
Man, that's awesome. I envy you. I'm speaking on behalf of my tagging partner as well. We envy you, man. We wish we can get inside a wrestling ring, bro. It's been 2 months.
Yeah, no,
I don't know, man.
it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that story, man. We actually have some fan questions right over here from @PrettyBadJuju. Going back to the yoga, do you also practice mindfulness and meditation along with yoga?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a lot more spiritual in that regard, but no, it's definitely something I take care of. My meditation, my biggest meditation, I always did in the tanning bed. So I would always, whenever I would do the tanning bed for
Oh, okay.
10 to 20 minutes, I would lay in the tanning bed and meditate there. So yeah, you always have to find a time throughout the day that you can really close off your mind to the world and focus on what's going on in your head, you know. Do a little mental working out, you know. Work on yourself a little bit.
Absolutely. And that's actually hitting two birds in one stone. You're getting a good tan, then you're going to get to, think of what you can do for the day or what you're planning to do for a wrestling match that you have in this weekend or
Exactly.
the day of that show. So, yeah, man. Absolutely. All right. Let's move on to more questions. Alrighty. So, I've always wondered, because this was also in your first match. Can you tell us the story behind the adding of the spinning knife edge chop to the upper back in your repertoire?
Yeah, so that's a cool one. I was actually it started off as a transition, you know, to a standing opponent. And Simon Gotch kind of showed me the counter and the transition, and I thought, you know, if anything, I should chop that motherfucker after this.
And it's the hardest part of a person, right? The upper back, right? That's when you hit the chair. So why not chop
Yeah.
it, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, and the way it happens that it kind of, you know, you catch them off guard with a transition, with a counter, it really makes for a big reaction. So it always gets a good reaction with the crowd, you know, and for something that simple, it's kind of cool. So I had
Absolutely.
somebody tell me in my matches, I just chop people and that's it, and I'm like, you're goddamn right.
And actually it's not being stiff. It's a work strike, brother. When you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, did that show you your fandom, for lack of a better term, of Japanese strong style? Or was that one of the inspirations as well of that move?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you had to think of it something on a reverse version, so it's unique. I get it. All right.
No, it's one of those things where that style really speaks to me, and as far as, you know, fighting for something bigger than me, I definitely gravitate towards the Japanese style. I think a lot of us do, and I think, you know, it's a good foundation for the business, truly, because they've really held on to a lot of things that we don't, a lot of things that we've kind of thrown to the wayside. They've focused on and they've preserved. So Japanese wrestling is just like a nice nature preservation of good skill and storytelling. So you have to watch it if you want to be good. So
That's true. And man, you know what? Japanese wrestling made pro wrestling actually look like a sport, and that's one thing
yeah,
we can't take away from that. That's one thing
that's
we
what I
can't take
mean.
away from it. All right. So let's go some fam questions again. Okay, so from my tag team partner @Senorito JDL, besides your dad, who are the old school wrestlers that you like watching and studying?
Well, everybody watches Dean Malenko, you know, so
Mm.
he's great when you're looking for technical stuff and holds in that. But as far as like, I don't like to super deeply study one person just because I don't want to like try to copy them, you know. But like, I really like when I first started wrestling and like really paying attention to like the modern day kind of style. I really watched a lot of Kenny, a lot of Kenny Omega and stuff. And I've always been the biggest fan of Jericho. So I have a lot of things that I look at from his matches that kind of influence me a lot too. So like I've always just liked those guys with that build and that style, that have to be able to do everything. Lance Storm always told me that with not being too small and not being too big, I'm basically going to have to be able to do every single thing that there is, and it's going to be hard, and it's going to be, I'm going to need a large skill set, and I've been building that skill set quite lucratively. I think I've so far been comfortable in the ring with pretty much anybody. The biggest mistake every wrestler makes is that they can do every move and that everybody can take every move. And I go to shows all the time where people are like, oh, yeah, I can do that, and all this, that, and the other. But then you go out and see it in practice and people get hurt or it looks like shit. And you're like, oh, yeah, you can do that, right? It's like, so I made that mistake early on. And I got into the culture that I could just do anything and everything was going to be fine. And then you get hurt a couple times or something falls apart and somebody else, falls onto somebody or, so you just got to take care of yourself, and hone your craft and also have a physical martial art kind of stance. If you're not a proper, martial artist, you might want to look into some martial arts so you can actually stand properly and also hold your own. Somebody might be shooting on you or really trying to, take some liberties out on you. You got to protect yourself in this business.
That's true, and thank you for actually sharing that in this episode of #PWOG Live, because not a lot of reminders like that gets to get thrown away, because some wrestlers, especially like young wrestlers, actually both of us, like I'm 5 years in, you're 3 years in, you have more exposure, and not everyone would speak out and would say that, like, yo, it's okay to say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's try this one. I've always wondered. Okay, I've always wondered. Sorry, this was in the wrong section. um, besides your father, who was your favorite Hart Foundation member and why?
I would love to say the British Bulldog for sure. Yeah. So, like, even talking about guys like him, like, just that same kind of stocky, like, you got to be jacked up, but you still got to be able to move, like, that's kind of my goal, like, so I love Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith. He's like my best friend. He's my brother. So when I watch, when I see things of his dad and stuff, I'm like, his dad was just such a badass, too. Like, nobody was more badass than the British Bulldog, so.
And this
maybe even more badass than my dad, maybe.
That could be an argument for some of you.
But my dad proved himself to those guys, and they set him up or whatever to be jumped, and that it's in the book. They kind of set him up to get jumped, and he won the fight. So he earned his keep in the Hart Foundation. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and actually, funny you should mention that. I don't know from which podcast I heard this. I think it's from the Steve Austin show podcast. He's like, at one point at the gym, your father, Brian Pillman, was actually one of the toughest motherfuckers in that gym. Besides the football background, if I'm not mistaken, he's just training hard, discipline. He's a man's man, for a lack of a better term, when inside the gym. So
absolutely, yeah.
That's crazy.
We need more of those,
Absolutely. Well, speaking of gym, speaking of working out, how's your regimen been like? Especially with the limitations that we have during the quarantine.
I honestly just been doing squats. That's about it. Honestly, there's not that much I can do here at my house, but I'm blessed that my body's pretty healthy, and I'm recovering a lot of injuries too. So, and then recently with adding in some actual in-ring training, my body's kind of able to see where it's at with that. But no, I don't have any weights or anything, and the secret gym I used to have closed down itself too. So I could order some equipment online, but I've been getting by with doing squats and push-ups and just keeping it simple for now.
That's true. Keep it old school. Keep your endurance in,
But
bro.
when that gym opens up, baby, I'm gonna be strapping on all kinds of things. I'm
You'll be
gonna be
knocking on the door,
squatting.
like, just open it.
I will be like, get me in here. No, but I've been feeling pretty good, just staying at home and working out. I haven't had any issues really.
Awesome, awesome. Even yeah, I'm guessing even with your diet. Same goes with your diet, man.
Yeah, I've been eating like shit.
Dang, how do you maintain then? What's the secret? I don't know if you can reveal much, but like, what's the
I
secret?
just, if I'm honest to everybody, I just have good genetics and I just stay good looking all the time. So.
That explains. It's the mullet, being the mullet god, man. You know.
Yeah, I look down at my tummy and I'm like, I'm a little bit fatter, but it'll burn off in a week.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the wrestling cardio, it's different kind of cardio, different kind of beast.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like, I just want to stay as long as I have good cardio to work and I can get back to work as soon as they're like, hey, we're having shows again. Because that's the thing. Like, I'm going to be training. Like, I'm not going to go back and shit the bed. I'm going to have great matches. My career, I was having such good matches before this corona, and it's a shame. It is a big concrete block in front of my career right now is this virus. But that concrete block is there for everybody, and it's blocking everybody from getting to their goals.
Yeah,
But on
absolutely.
the other side of that block is my goals, and I will achieve those goals. So
That you will, sir. That you will. Because speaking of goals, man, you're actually the reigning defending Warrior Wrestling champion.
where's that?
There you go. There you go. Some exclusive
There
right
it
there
is.
for hashtag PWOG Live. Thank you, good Sir Brian Pillman Jr. Oh my goodness gracious. Dang. Did it ever occur to you? It kind of looked like the Willow mask, Jeff Hardy's persona?
No, I never thought of that. I always thought it looked like a Spartan kind of thing.
The 300.
Spartan, yeah, Spartan logo. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So speaking of the Warrior Wrestling promotion and you being the champion, who would you like if given the opportunity? Given a pick your poison match, who would you pick as your number one contender?
For the Warrior title?
Yes.
That's a tough question. There's a lot of names out there. There's a lot of people that have yet to debut for Warrior, and Warrior is a company that is very ambitious, and they want to bring on a lot of people from around the world. So I have quite a large potential selection. I could literally pick anybody I want as a challenger in the whole country, and Warrior would approve it, and they would bring that person in, and they would fly them in. So we're at a point in Warrior Wrestling where we have the power to create any match, anywhere, anytime. You know what I mean? It's just they are that willing and that ambitious that we're gonna fill up that place, one way or another. We had that awesome back and forth, me and Bubba Ray Dudley. I don't know if you saw that, a great series of promos there on Twitter. And I don't know. I think I need somebody to test me. I think I need somebody from my past, somebody that has beaten me before for a big championship, someone that's a huge test to what I'm doing here. And I think that guy's Alex Hammerstone.
Oh man, that's people heard it first. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Right now, he's also like one of the top heels, man. Well, besides Jacob Fatu being the MLW champion, but man, that's a great choice. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
What
a
kind of
good
stipulation?
synergy. Huh?
What kind of stipulation, if I may ask?
Hey, just a good old wrestling match, brother. I want to prove myself down to the, where no one can, take it away from me. Prove it on the mat, baby. We'll prove it on the mat.
If any, you'll always
If
have
things
Hart
get
on
weird
there,
after that, they might get weird. But as far as I'm concerned, standard wrestling rules apply, baby.
especially if you're the champ.
Alexander Hammerstone, come and get the title. It's looking for you. It's looking for a prime challenger, and as every fighter and every champion should strive for, they should always strive for the strongest opponent. and that's right now. That's the strongest opponent right now on the Indies. So come and get it, brother. Come and get it.
Absolutely. He's actually growing that brother beard right now. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. He looks like Hogan, brother.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I'll have to message Warrior and get that approved right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. All right. So since we're winding down a bit, since we have you for quite a while, we have this segment called the Shoot Your Shot segment. Basically, it's a segment wherein I show photos at my background through the magic of iPhone, of course, of your own photos. And can you please tell us shoot stories of each one? On your cue when you're ready.
I'm sorry. What was that again?
So basically, we have a Shoot Your Shot segment wherein I show photos on the background through the magic of iPhone, and you're gonna tell shoot stories of each photo I'm gonna show.
Okay. I didn't see any photos. That's why.
Okay, no, I'm gonna do it now. You ready?
Okay.
All right. There you go. First photo. What's your shoot story on this? Dang it. Never mind. But it's basically your referee. I think it's your first match refereeing for Eli Drake. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this was like this was my actual first paid gig as in the wrestling business. As you can see, I'm jacked out of my mind. I got the tightest jean jogging pants ever. You know, like those jegging, those legging pants that were hot for like a week, and I was like, I don't know why I was wearing those, but as you can see, my pulsating quads are shown through the pants.
Man, I think your caption for this photo was actually "Never skip leg day," man, or "I never skip leg day." I remember that when I was searching earlier.
Yeah. It is so I was a guest referee. Yeah, I was a guest referee at this show. So, I got paid $50.
Amen.
And it was a really cool show. It was a reunion of the HWA. So it was an HWA reunion show. It was an old promotion here in Ohio, here in Cincinnati, that Eli Drake and Cody Hawk were a huge part of. And that's where I met Eli. It was in that area. At that show in Cincinnati. It was really cool. It was a night I'll never forget. It was like I said, it was my first night. Like I was a guest ref, and I mean I did an absolute terrible job. You know, I was the worst ref probably ever.
Nah, so. I doubt that. I doubt that. But like, if I may ask, because I noticed too, you're wearing is that the actual Hollywood Blondes vest of your own father?
Yeah. So there's the story. I thought you already knew what that was, so I wasn't commenting as much on that, but. Yeah, that is the official. That is the Hollywood Blondes vest, brother.
Awesome, man. That's crazy for your first ever wrestling gig. You get to pay tribute to your dad as well. Super awesome, man.
Yeah. All right. It was cool. I thought it'd be a cool little send off.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Next photo. Shoot your shot on this photo.
Well, that's exactly what it looks like. That's beefy old me. Setting up to train with Lance Storm. I think that's like the first or second week of training. So we were just getting started. That is pre-mullet, obviously, you know, so the hair is growing in. It's coming through. And I don't know, I kind of miss that hairstyle. It was a lot of fun having that hair.
Man, okay, on that note, I have a two-parter question. If this was your second week in training, how did the offer of collar and elbow happen, if I may ask? And the second part
is they were on top. They were on top of it. They were on top of it. As soon as they heard I was training, they were ready to go. So as soon as I broke in, I had a lot of offers for a lot of different sponsorships and stuff. So I've always been taken care of very well by the wrestling community. The wrestling community has always been so nice to me and opened arms to me. So all the conventions I've been to and everything has been quite a pleasure. So
that's great to hear. The second part of that question, however, bro, what was the story or the decision making that went to your head when you said, you know what, let me do a mullet right now, but a different style of mullet because you have to shave the sides?
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew it had to be different style, right? I knew it had to be modern. You know, I had to 2000s defy it, right? I had to bring it to the to the people.
Brothers, sisters, everyone, we are really gonna make a shirt out of what's happening. Always around this time, towards the midnight, hashtag technical difficulties, man. I don't know what's happening. Pretty bad juju. Hello. Thank you for rejoining. Senorita JDL, thank you for rejoining. My Ate Karen, hello. Thank you for rejoining. As I was mentioning earlier, we are really gonna make a t-shirt out of this technical difficulties. Oh my goodness gracious. Ate Karen, the internet is fine. I don't know what's happening this time around. Thank you, Senorita JDL, for this pinned comment. So, alright, let's just wait for our very special guest, Brian Pillman Jr., to rejoin the program. Alrighty, Senorita JDL is on it. Man, I don't know what is happening. Definitely, second time around. This happened around this time. That's scary, really scary. We're gonna make a shirt out of that. Oh my goodness gracious. It just crashed, dude. It just crashed. I don't know. It just crashed, bro. Thank you for joining in, rejoining in, everyone. Thank you so much. We are working on the connection. Hello, bro. Freaking high school buddy of mine. High school batchmate, KVS Belly, bro. Oh, there you go. Mr. Brian Pillman Jr. is back on the live. Alrighty, right over here. Alrighty, thank you for hanging on, fellas. Thank you so much for hanging on. We're connecting right now. We apologize for what happened. Brian.
Hey,
I think. There you go.
hey,
Bro, what's up? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Bro,
Oh,
second
it's
time
okay.
around,
How long have we been
crash,
going?
man. I'm sorry.
How long have we been going, my friend?
We've been going for actually, I think, around 32 minutes earlier. 32 minutes.
32. Okay.
All right, man. Apologies for that, but again, we're gonna pick up where we left up right from this photo. We're done with this, but like the story of just the mullet. We were there,
You there?
bro. I'm there. I'm here.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
you didn't catch any of this because it disconnected, right?
It did. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Crashed on
Oh
my
no.
end.
Yeah, we talked about the hair, right? The mullet and
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
So okay, yeah, man.
Yeah. That's when I trained with Lance and stuff.
Okay, all right,
Didn't I
all
talk
right.
about all this for a bit?
We did actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's move on. Sorry. From this one. Shoot the story on this photo. I never knew that there was something written on the gear. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. So for those that look back, I actually lost those tights, which is a terrible tragedy to my career. I really love those tights. I put a lot of time into designing that, and also I wore them for several of my first matches, very important matches that I had. Um, but yeah, that was like my first like really professional, like truly made up like set of gear. So it was really special to me. And I dedicated it to the fallen members of the Hart Foundation. So
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I didn't know that that occurred with that pair of tights of yours. But were you
yeah.
ever considering like remaking a new one or a different, slightly different version of that anytime soon?
Yeah, so I use some of that symbolism and archetypes in my gear. After that, I have a couple sets of gear that are similar to that. Maybe I can find one in here somewhere. But no, I mean, I'm always evolving and always changing my ideas. So I don't think I'll do another one like that yet. I think maybe down the road. But I definitely have actually something, I guess you could say, very Heart Foundation esque coming out soon. So, looking forward to wearing that. Yeah, the Figures Toy Company. They are working on a model for me, a prototype. I'm like one of the first prototypes, I guess. So no, so there's a lot going on. Yeah. Is your internet going out or what? What's going on with your internet?
Yeah, man. It's welcome to Philippine internet, bro. I'm sorry about that. It's weird. You know what's
All
super weird? It's 1:51 a.m. I'm the only one with the Wi-Fi. I'm the only one using the Wi-Fi.
right.
That's super
Wow.
crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. Let's go to the photo again. That wrestling figure toy company photo. Goodness gracious, I was excited for that part. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's Figures Toy Company. I just signed a deal with them about a year ago, so they're still working on a prototype. They said it would be a couple of years before it went into production, but I'm pretty confident that they're creating something. So
Yeah, man. And actually, I have some photos of the what it would look like. This was like one of your MLW gears, actually. This one, and without the jacket, it would look like this. And of course, the packaging would look like this. All right, man. I'm
yeah,
just like, yo, congratulations on that, bro. So for your career, the action figure happened first. If ever you're gonna be in a video game, what kind of video game? Of course, wrestling, but like, what type of wrestling video game would you want to be in, if I may ask?
they're actually coming out with a video game too that I'm going to be featured in. So
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm currently working on a deal with the company right now. They're called Virtual Basement. They are the developers and the creators of Arc.
And they're working on a wrestling video game. Is it the
Yeah.
typical video game how a wrestling video game is presented, or it's somewhat the cross between TNA Impact and WWE All Stars?
It's gonna be like realistic graphics. Like they're using like pretty sure they're using Unreal Engine for it. Like it's gonna be really good. And then I'm not sure. I know the gameplay is gonna be very innovative and it's gonna be very different than your typical wrestling game. And it's gonna be actually using elements from like No Mercy and shit like that people used to like. So be ready. It's gonna be tight.
Awesome, man. Everyone's gonna look forward to that, especially fans, man. All right, we have last.
This was this was the start of a really good
Yes, man. I get,
friendship
I get.
from me. But very
Loud and clear.
important,
Loud and clear.
very important person in my life, Davey Boy
Yeah.
Smith Jr. This was in Calgary when we had a show. It might have been in Edmonton. No. This was in Calgary. Yeah, this was in Calgary, and RCW was the promotion. Not a whole lot of indie wrestling going on up there, but there's a couple promotions, so some really good stuff. And yeah, Davey Boy Smith Jr. Dude, he's my brother. I mean, what more can you say? I was greener than grass at this point. I was literally in training, helping with the ring and stuff, and that's all we were there to do. Didn't wrestle or anything.
And it's awesome, and of course that started the somewhat revampation of the new era Hart Foundation. Absolutely,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I had, just so much I had to learn, and so many steps I took in the beginning. And to see where I was then and where I'm at now, I've come quite a long way. So I'm really excited. And him and I have had some pretty cool matches. I can't hear you, my friend. Thank you for having me, though. It was a good time.
Hello, everyone. My goodness, the most, the most IG live technical difficulties I've ever experienced. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh man, I all right, we're coordinating with the senorito. What's the plan? What's the plan? Right, Ryan, the SPW ref. I didn't expect it. 1 a.m. Same here, bro. Same here. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Alrighty. Hopefully, Ryan Pillman Jr. can still join us. Thank you for everyone who's returning right now to the live. I don't know what else to say, man. No excuses. It's just the internet. I'm the only one using it right now. It's almost 2 a.m. I'm the only one online. We are getting through this. We are getting through this. Everyone rejoining, thank you. We have Brian Pillman Jr. of MLW joining us for this hashtag PWOG Live. This is the fourth technical difficulties we've experienced, the most actually, and we're hanging on. We're hanging on. Hopefully, Brian Pillman Jr. Would still be game to rejoin the program. If ever, I will wrap up really quick the shoot your shot segment. I don't know. It's taking so much probably of the data. It's not even data. It's Wi-Fi. So it's what I don't get. Staying strong, brothers. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you for all the yellow hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Man, we hanging on. We hanging on. Everyone tuning in, just joining in. If you're wondering what's that pinned comment, that's actually the latest partnership between Philippine Wrestling Revolution and Ticket to Me. So the partnership is when you buy a t-shirt, a limited edition, what do you call that? Limited edition PWR Mabuhay and Wrestling shirt made by the one only Rab Sham and Marv. I don't know if I think I watched that. And when you buy that t-shirt, you help provide PPE or personal protective equipment for our frontliners fighting COVID-19 here in the Philippines. Once you make your purchase through that link that we provided or Senorita Jada provided, you can send the virtual receipt of your receipt to the Facebook page of Philippine Wrestling Revolution PWR, and afterwards in the nearest PWR show, you can get your very own limited edition shirt, especially if you're a wrestling fan or just a fan of wrestling in general. So that's awesome, man. Yo, yellow hearts, I appreciate it. My voice, man. I don't know what's happening. Yo, Kylie Nets, thank you for joining. College friend. So after this has been the fourth technical difficulties, man. I don't know if we should continue with the shoot your shot segment. I don't know. Hello. Hi, Yen. Hello. You never called me that, Mama Pixie. All right, let me see. Ready. So wait for an update. Wait for an update from the Senorito himself.
Good morning. I have some bad news. Good morning, right? Good morning. So I just got talking with Brian Pillman. He says he actually has another interview coming up in a minute. So regretfully, he can't join us to finish off the segment. But for what it was, man, like I know we had a lot of technical difficulties. You kept it together. You kept it strong. It was still a fun time, man. Don't worry about it.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man. I'm just gonna send my apologies later. Actually, for this episode, Brian Pillman Jr., man, thank you for joining us, being gracious enough to still join the program. And I'm sorry for what happened, man. It's just the internet. I don't know what else to say, man.
We're in the Philippines. It happens. And also, maybe this is a wake-up call to IG Live. IG Live, if you're watching this right now, IG Live, it's time to fix your... Well, you've been cursing kanina pa. So it's time to fix your shit, IG Live. Get it right. We had Brian Pillman, the Brian Pillman Jr. on, the Promised Prince, flying Brian Pillman Jr., and you had the audacity to crash on us, crash on the PWOGs. No! IG Live next time, tomorrow, you're not going to do that. For next week, Ken's guest next week, you're not going to do that. IG Live, if you're watching Mark Zuckerberg, because Facebook owns Instagram now, if you are watching Zuck, you better watch out. Are we going to drop your Olipin ass and you can hashtag that, amigo? Come on. I'm fired up.
Hell yeah,
it's
bro.
2 a.m.
Hell freaking I appreciate it. I appreciate the fire, man. I appreciate the fire. Actually, speaking of fire, it's actually hot as hell right now with the summer.
Hot as hell, Ken. So what do you want to do right now?
But
What do you
yeah,
want to
bro,
do,
for
Ken?
the
What do you want
announcement
to
of
do?
the episode for tomorrow, you have Balyanaki. So yeah,
Yes, we have Balianaki coming up. He's one of the only few wrestlers who are still resting in this COVID-19 world right now, so that'll be a very interesting talk. He's gonna have like I'm not sure how long he's gonna have, but like he might have a show tomorrow. I'm not sure, so hopefully we can get him on while he's on. And I'm really interested in his story because he's an Indian-born wrestler. Just wanted to go to Japan, chase his dream, and that is something that we can all aspire to.
that's right. That's going to be at 5 p.m. Philippine time tomorrow on the program for
Yes,
hashtag
sir.
PWOG Live. And at least, actually, speaking of times, this is a learning process, learning curve for us to never, maybe at least on our end, do a 1 a.m. or a 2 a.m. interview, regardless of how you think the internet is the fastest during this time.
I think it just happens. I don't think it was the time issue. It's just anything can happen issue. We're live, pal.
That's true.
We're live.
That's true. But like I remember vividly, this is what somewhat happened in the Ricky Starks episode. It's almost the same
Yeah,
time as well, and the um, similar lines of crashes. This one it
yeah.
crashed 3 times. Well, 2 times or 1 time, and you know, on my end, you guys were hearing me, right?
Uh, Sometimes you couldn't. Sometimes you had like this weird like during the shoot your shot segment. I'm not sure if it's the feature where you're sharing the photos that's actually the problem, but like sometimes you would just go black, and then what's happening, and then yeah. So when
Whenever
you
it
come
goes
back,
black, my volume gets out. That's what happened.
that's what happened. So I don't know. Maybe it's the feature. I'm not sure. That's why I have to say IG Live needs to fix its shit.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, but IG Live maybe there's also the fact that they're planning on like upping it and having more than two people on an IG Live. So maybe it's because they're doing modifications also that makes it black. I don't know. It's just it's just really bad timing. That's all we can say. But he did say, Brian Pillman Jr. did say let's do it again sometime. Let's do it
Absolutely.
again sometime. So definitely would love to have him on again because like he is a teller. He is not scared of like saying whatever he wants. And yeah, let's have him on again sometime.
Actually, a quick shout out to my college friend, real quick, Kylie. Thank you for tuning in. She said bye, and we have on the live right now, the remaining minutes, Aaron Solo.
Aaron
Tuning
Solo.
in. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir Aaron, for tuning in, man. For Aaron Solo tuning in right now, man, I don't know what happened with this episode. Freaking 4 technical difficulties. This is so embarrassing. I don't know. Just the
It's
Philippine
alright.
internet, man.
This is only our. No, it is episode 13, right?
Episode 13. This episode's cursed, man. Shoot.
Well, well, that's something we can't name episodes number 13 now. That's something we have to watch out for.
That's
All
true.
right, Ken. We should really like
Wrap it up.
we should wrap it up. Yeah, I'm losing the words right now. I'm losing the words.
Yeah, man.
Should
2
I finish
a.m.
this
here in the
off with
Philippines.
Should I finish this off with another hashtag John Cena Saturday?
Yes, please, man.
All right, John Cena Saturday. This one is very new. May 9, 2020. Do right, strive to live joyful, know you are enough, and earn each day. John Cena. So whatever problems we may have, as long as you do right, strive to live joyful, know that you are enough, and earn each day. That is enough. And thank you, John Cena, and everyone who's watching the 8 Corsillas right now, the multitudes who were with us right there back then when Brian Pillman was on. Thank you again so much for watching hashtag PWG Live. Tomorrow we have Bali and Aki. Next week we have PWG Wrestling from home, always. And again, the pinned comment, help our brave frontliners by ordering our PWG Mabuhay ang Wrestling shirts. Part of the proceeds will go to our brave frontliners fighting this COVID-19 enemy we have right now. And yeah, just click the link, go to tickettome.net and help out as much as you can. And Ken, you can?
Y'all can hashtag that. Thank you for joining in the program. And I just wanted to say to end this episode, It's crazy we had Brian Pillman Jr. on because he was still one of the two dream matches I wanted to have this 2020. I never got to say it in person to him, man, but that's how we close this one. One of my dream matches. Man, it's an honor to have him here, and may you enjoy the rest of the morning, everyone. For everyone at nighttime, a pleasant evening. For everyone in the morning right now, fellas, get some sleep. Thank you for joining us on hashtag John Cena Saturday of the hashtag PWOG Live.